Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today. We're out here at Clayton East again. We're taking a look at some of the very large bird stones that are just sitting on top of this stone mound. There's some really interesting stuff just laying right out here. And we're gonna go ahead and take a look at a few of these giant polished ones here in just a minute. But first, I wanna quickly show you this face image. You guys can see how the profile here is on the right-hand side. This is actually a really easy one to see. You can see how it's just the shape of a head statue. You can see how the lips are like just a little crack or indentation for lips. Now, on top of this head, there's this other jut right here. You can see the circle inside of this. This is a quartz crystal piece. But this other jut is a bird beak. So just like indigenous people today still dress up with these big bird hats on their heads, you know, these people did the same thing. The reason why indigenous people do that today is it's because it's what their ancestors did. You can see how on the other side here, there's a large circle and a beak shape over here. And now how these kind of look like the crest of a big bird head. So normally here in North Carolina, these are shaped like big bird heads. And you can see how the eye wisps back. So if you follow the carvings here, it's a little bit strange looking at these stones as if they are statues, but you can see how this little hook bill is portrayed there. And you're probably seeing this image on the right-hand side very well. So there's different eyes, and whenever you come in to look at it straight on, you can see how they put little markings in there. So this is a really nice one, and we can take a look at the other side real quick. So the other side has another beautiful image. I love the way they did the lips on these. And since we could see the one side pretty well, we can see this side too. I wonder how it got brown like that. Very curious how it got blackened. I'm not sure. But you can see how this whole hill that we're on is a bunch of these, a whole bunch. And if they were all just piled up here, it was quite a long time ago, because you can see the way the trees are all pretty old. They're not like hundreds of years old, but they're at least 40. So here we have a really smooth, giant version of what the small little effigies that we pick up. And we can start to look just like in the cracks and in the lines. Unfortunately, this tree is in the way for, it looks like, I'm looking at that hole as being an eye, painted an eye. Let's see, there we go. So we can see a nose sticking out. See how the eye is there, the nose, and then it curves down to perhaps a mouth and a chin. And you can see how the jowl is done. And when we move it away, you can see how now that's coming out a little better. And you see how it's a long face, right? I always say, why the long face? It's because you tilt it. So when we tilt this, you can see how the human image is gonna start to pop out a little better. You may be seeing different ones. So this is really cool. You can see how the top is done in a bit of a different color, you know? And you could say, oh, well, this is all just stain. And my answer to that would be, you know, we only just got here 300 years ago. So don't be so surprised if you find artifacts of the people that we know for a fact were all over this country. Not that long ago. Honestly, less than 3 or 4 people ago. So just keep an open mind, guys, when you're looking at this. I know to a lot of you, it's just gonna look like rocks. But this is a painting of a mammoth right here. You can see, and there's probably mammoth inside of mammoth. So we have like a cave painting on a stone. You can look at the end here and kind of depict it, that whole outside image. And the trunk here, or the hump, it's got a bird on it. So there's a bird head right there, just like a sitting, you know, like a water duck sitting in the water. It's got a little crest on it. You can see the eye. It's a painting of a bird. The eye for the mammoth, you can see the little lashes coming down. There's another little carving for an eye there too. So there's usually, when you have one mammoth, you'll have several. You can even see how the feet are portrayed. And the hump. It's a beautiful stone. You can see how it is, you know, flat as a pancake, and even flatter than a pancake. The whole thing on the top of it and everything else is going to be more stuff, but probably more mammoth. I'm not going to be able to see it, but you guys will. So let me know what you guys can see in the comments below. Really appreciate you hanging out, and there's so much to explore here, guys. We can go over some of the things that we've already looked at and find more. But here on this side, you can see, I mean, you know how they find those big Olmec heads, right? This is kind of the same thing. You see how there's a carving for an eye and there's like a cutout for a mouth, right? The art style is a little weird. That's because when you look at it and you pull it back, now you can see that there's a headdress here. Look at all those feathers coming